Anger is the confession of weakness. Every time you explode, you reveal what controls you. Every time someone triggers you, they own a part of your mind. And the man who can be owned cannot rule. Not himself, not others, not his destiny. So today we begin not with peace, but with power. This is not a lesson in kindness. It's a doctrine of control, the kind Machiavelli understood. To master life, you must master perception. To master perception, you must master emotion. And to master emotion, you must become indifferent. The world wants your reaction. It feeds on it. Your outrage, your posts, your arguments, your emotional surrender. But when you stop reacting, when you stop caring what others say or do, you become untouchable. Your silence becomes armor. Your calm becomes fearsome. Let's start with this. Every man must build a fortress of indifference inside himself, not the coldness of apathy, but the discipline of kings. A king does not rush to emotion. He observes, he calculates, he waits. While others burn with rage, he studies the fire. While others react, he decides. That is how Machiavelli described power. Not in grand speeches or force, but in silence and restraint. He wrote, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him." And I'll add, the first sign of a strong man is his ability to stay calm when surrounded by fools. When someone insults you, they are not attacking you. They are exposing themselves, their jealousy, their frustration, their weakness, anger, gossip, mockery. These are the weapons of the powerless. But when you respond with indifference, when you do not feed their hunger for reaction, they starve. You deny them control over your inner world. You deny them access to your peace. Understand this deeply. People who try to make you angry are secretly begging for your attention. They want to see that they can move you, shake you, change you. But when you do not move, they crumble. Your calm is their defeat. Your silence is your dominance. There's a story about a general in ancient China. When enemies mocked him, his soldiers wanted to retaliate, to shout back. But the general smiled and said, "If barking dogs could wound, I would be dead already." That's the spirit of the disciplined mind. When people bark, you don't bark back. You march forward, because your focus is too valuable to waste on noise. Every second spent reacting is a second lost from building, improving, or conquering. Anger is time theft, disguised as justice. Machiavelli understood this perfectly. He wrote that a ruler must appear calm even when he feels rage within, because emotion is leverage, and once people know what angers you, they know how to control you. You must be a mirror, reflect everything, absorb nothing. A mirror cannot be insulted. It shows reality but stays unchanged. So when someone tries to provoke you, imagine yourself as a mirror. Their anger, their words, their disrespect, all reflected back to them. You see it, you acknowledge it, but it never enters your mind. This is the foundation of indifference, stoic perception. You don't deny what's happening. You simply refuse to be owned by it. Think of how many times anger has ruined peace. A single comment, a single misunderstanding, and suddenly your day is gone. Your energy wasted, your focus shattered. Now imagine if you could see the same event and feel nothing. No fire, no pain, just understanding. That's what mastery looks like. It's not about pretending you don't care. It's about understanding that most things are not worth caring about. People's opinions are noise. Their actions are temporary. Their validation, meaningless. What lasts is your control. Write this down in your mind. He who angers you, conquers you. might think you're defending yourself when you argue. You might believe you're proving strength when you fight back. But every time you react, you lose a little power. Every time you stay silent, you gain it. Machiavelli's world was one of manipulation and deceit, but he saw truth in control. He knew that emotion is a signal, not a command. Feel it. Don't follow it. When someone disrespects you, note it, learn from it, but do not let it move you. Because the moment you show anger, you expose a wound. And once the world sees where you bleed, it will never stop cutting. So what do you do instead? You use the energy, you transmute it. Let anger become clarity. Let betrayal become focus. Let insult become silence, the kind that makes others uneasy. You turn every emotional attack into fuel. Every attempt to provoke you becomes a reminder. They want your reaction because your reaction is valuable. So guard it like a treasure. Be so composed, so unbothered that people can't tell if you even heard them. That's when they fear you. Not because you are loud, but because you are still. Hello. This is the first law of indifference. The less you react, the more powerful you become. Because power isn't about what you control outside. It's about what you control within. And when no one can trigger you, you are free. In this world, people will betray you. They will lie, insult, abandon, and provoke. But if you remain unmoved, if your mind remains still, you will move through chaos like a blade through smoke. You will not be broken. You will not be bothered. You will be feared. You will be respected. You will be free. This is where it begins. The discipline of kings. The mind that cannot be provoked. In the next chapter, we go deeper into the law of emotional armor, where we build the second layer of indifference. Perception control. Stay silent. Stay sharp. Stay sovereign. Before a ruler steps into the battlefield, he puts on armor. But the strongest men in history didn't just wear armor on their bodies. They wore it on their minds. Because it's not the sword that destroys most men. It's the word. It's the insult. It's the betrayal. It's the whisper that worms its way into your mind until it poisons your peace. That's why today we build your emotional armor. A shield not of steel, but of silence. A protection that no manipulation, no betrayal, no opinion can pierce. You must understand. The world will test your emotional limits daily. A comment, a rejection, a disrespect, a disappointment, all of it crafted by life to see if you still break. And most people do. They explode, they gossip, they self-destruct. All because they never learned how to guard the gates of their inner kingdom. But you are not most people. You are a ruler in training. And the first law of emotional armor is this. No one deserves immediate access to your emotions. Your emotions are your kingdom's treasury, and only a fool leaves the gates wide open for thieves. Think of every insult as an arrow. You can't stop the arrow from being shot, but you can choose whether it pierces your skin or bounces off your armor. How? By removing personalization. Never take what others say as a reflection of you, only as a reflection of them. If a man calls you weak, it often means he feels weak himself. If a woman mocks your ambition, it's usually because she has none. If people attack your peace, it's because they have lost theirs. The weak project, the strong reflect. You, my friend, must become the mirror again. Cold, clear, and unreactive. Here's a Machiavellian truth most people can't handle. You can never be truly powerful if you're emotionally predictable. If people know what makes you angry, they own you. If they know what makes you sad, they control you. If they know what makes you react, they can steer you like a puppet. Emotional armor means unpredictability. It means smiling when they expect fury. It means staying calm when they expect chaos. It means walking away when they expect a war, because nothing disarms manipulators faster than your indifference. The second layer of emotional armor is delayed response. When something happens, when you feel triggered, do nothing. Breathe. Wait. Let the fire burn out before you act, because action born from emotion is always weak. Action born from reflection is unstoppable. Imagine someone insults you publicly. The ordinary man snaps back, tries to defend his image, but the disciplined man, he pauses. He lets silence do the talking. He smiles, not from arrogance, but from awareness, because he knows emotional reaction is exactly what his enemy wants. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But in truth, it's better to be unreadable, because the unreadable man controls both fear and love." Emotional armor also means this: you never argue with fools, because to argue with a fool is to descend into his arena. And once you're there, he beats you with experience. So stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Stop defending your worth to those who have already decided to disrespect it. Your silence is not weakness, it's filtration. Every time you don't react, you're silently removing someone unworthy from your mental kingdom. Every time you walk away, you reinforce the message: my peace is not for sale. Now here's a hard truth Machiavelli would whisper if he were alive today. Most people are emotional hostages, to others, to gossip, to opinions, to validation. They are slaves disguised as free men. You can spot them easily. They scroll endlessly, argue in comments, rage at strangers. Their minds are wide open for invasion. They live on reaction. And they think they are alive, but they are just reacting machines. But you are building something different. You are constructing a fortress, a mental citadel where nothing enters unless you permit it. No opinions, no insults, no validation, just clarity, just calm. That's emotional armor, not escaping emotion, but mastering its direction. Understand this paradox. To feel deeply is human. To control deeply is divine. You will still feel anger. You will still feel pain. But those emotions will not dictate your next move. They will serve it. You will not suppress emotion. You will channel it. Turn it into discipline. Turn it into silence. Turn it into power. Every time you refuse to react, your armor strengthens. Every time you respond with calm precision, your armor hardens. Every time you let go of the need to prove yourself, your crown grows heavier. And here is where your Machiavellian training becomes unstoppable, when you realize that not caring is not ignorance, it's intelligence. The one who doesn't get angry owns his peace. The one who doesn't seek revenge owns his time. The one who doesn't react owns the world. So build your armor daily, with silence, with patience, with discipline. Let people test you. Let them lie about you. Let them underestimate you. Every test is just a hammer strengthening your iron, because the more they try to pierce your calm, the more they reveal the truth, that your peace terrifies them. So remember these three principles of emotional armor. Delay your reaction. Detach from opinion. Use emotion as information, not instruction. This is how you become the calm eye inside the storm, the ruler in the chaos, the man who can walk through fire untouched. Because when no insult, no betrayal, no rejection can shake you, you have achieved the rarest form of power, unbothered existence. This is the second law of indifference. You are no longer a slave to reaction. You wear armor made of silence, patience, and cold understanding. In the next part, we will enter the third law, the power of controlled distance. where we'll explore why the most dangerous men are the ones who can walk away without a word. Stay calm. Stay unreadable. Stay unbothered. Every empire that fell because it let the wrong people get too close. Every man who broke because he gave access to those who hadn't earned it. Distance is not coldness. It's clarity. It's the art of protecting your peace before the world poisons it. And Machiavelli knew this truth. He said, "Never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception." But what he meant wasn't just manipulation. It was detachment. Because the most powerful deception is silence. And the strongest force is distance. The power of controlled distance means this: you no longer chase. You no longer cling. You no longer beg to be understood. You understand that not every person deserves your energy, not every battle deserves your sword, and not every voice deserves an answer. Distance is the weapon of the wise. It confuses the emotional, exposes the fake, and humbles the arrogant. When you pull back, when you stop explaining, stop chasing, stop overgiving, you force the world to reveal who was real and who was only there for your reaction. The weak man believes connection equals closeness. The strong man knows closeness is earned. You must start seeing your attention as currency. Every second you spend trying to fix others is energy stolen from your own evolution. Every argument you indulge in is time you'll never get back. Machiavelli would tell you, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. But today, I tell you this: keep yourself closest of all. Because if you lose yourself in the noise of others, you'll never hear the quiet truth inside, the one that says, I don't need to react. Controlled distance is not about ignoring others. It's about prioritizing peace. You choose where your energy flows. You decide what reaches you. That is modern sovereignty. Let's paint a scene. A man texts you with disrespect. A woman tests your patience. A colleague mocks your work. The average man argues, defends, justifies. The powerful man? He simply withdraws. He removes his energy, calmly, without drama. Because energy is power. And where your energy goes, control follows. When you pull away, you're not running. You're recentering. You're reclaiming emotional territory that you once gave away too easily. You're telling the world, access to me is earned, not assumed. And that, my friend, is what makes people obsessed. Because your distance communicates what words never could. That you don't need them. That you're whole on your own. That you are no longer emotionally affordable. Machiavelli warned rulers to never make themselves too accessible. Because familiarity breeds contempt. When people believe they can reach you whenever they want, they start to forget your value. This is why a man who is always available is rarely respected, and a man who can disappear without explanation becomes unforgettable. Controlled distance restores your mystery, and mystery is magnetic. It draws people toward you, not through effort, but through energy. You stop chasing, you stop convincing, you simply exist in silence, and let the world come to you. Controlled distance is not cruelty. It's emotional self-defense. You're not cutting people off. You're creating sacred space. Space where you can think, rebuild, observe. Every time you pull away from chaos, your clarity grows sharper. Every time you choose silence over argument, your power amplifies. Every time you stop trying to prove your worth multiplies. Distance lets time do the talking, and time always reveals the truth. But here's the trap. Most people fear distance because they confuse solitude with loneliness. They can't stand silence because silence forces them to meet themselves. But a man who can stand alone is a man who can't be controlled. Machiavelli admired rulers who could walk away, not because they didn't care, but because they understood that attachment is leverage, and the one who needs less commands more. So train yourself to detach gracefully, not with hatred, not with arrogance, but with elegance. Detach because your peace is expensive. Detach because your energy is rare. Detach because not everyone deserves a seat in your empire. You'll notice something powerful when you practice controlled distance. People start chasing you, not because you manipulated them, but because they can feel your energy shift. They can sense your silence. They can feel that you've stopped needing them. And in that moment, the power balance flips. You go from reactive to magnetic, from emotional to strategic. The one who can walk away always holds the advantage, because he doesn't fear loss. He understands it's part of leadership. So here are the 3 laws of controlled distance. Law 1. Never over-explain. Silence says more than words ever can. Law 2. Protect your presence like currency. Access is earned through respect, not demand. Law 3. Detach to observe. Only distance reveals truth about others and about yourself. When you master these, people's chaos will no longer pull you in. Their energy will bounce off your calm like waves off a stone, and you will learn the highest form of strength, restraint. This is the 3rd law of indifference, the power of controlled distance. You are no longer driven by emotion or need. You are guided by choice. And the moment you can walk away from everything that doesn't serve your peace, you step into the realm of true power. In the next chapter, we go deeper into the art of silence and strategy, where we'll uncover how silence can manipulate, influence, and command without a single word spoken. Stay distant, stay centered, stay sovereign. Power rarely shouts. It doesn't need to. The greatest kings, the sharpest minds, the most feared rulers, they moved in silence. They let others speak, expose, and waste themselves, because silence is not emptiness. Silence is a weapon, and if you learn to wield it correctly, you can command respect, provoke curiosity, and maintain total control without saying a single word. Machiavelli wrote, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." In our time, that means the wise man listens before speaking. He plans before reacting. He moves before explaining. Silence is the foundation of strategy, because when you speak less, you see more. When you reveal less, you know more. And when you know more than you reveal, you rule every conversation without even trying. The art of silence begins with this mindset. Your words are expensive. They should never be given freely. Every time you speak impulsively, you leak power. Every time you overshare, you surrender control. Every time you try to convince, you lose influence. Let others talk. Let them fill the air with their emotions, opinions, and noise. You observe, you collect, you store, because silence makes others uncomfortable. They rush to fill it, and in their rush, they expose themselves, their motives, their insecurities, their truth. That is the first rule of Machiavellian silence. Never compete with noise. Let it destroy itself. When you are silent, people start projecting onto you. They will wonder what you think, what you plan, what you know, and that uncertainty gives you leverage, because the unknown always commands more respect than the predictable. If you're always explaining yourself, you become readable. And once you're readable, you're controllable. But when you speak rarely and precisely, when you move with restraint and intention, you become a mystery. And mystery is power in its purest form. Machiavelli understood that rulers who spoke too much invited downfall. He observed how words create enemies, how honesty in the wrong moment kills advantage. So he advised, never reveal all of yourself. Keep men dependent on your favor. That's the art of silence, creating just enough curiosity for people to stay invested while never revealing the full truth of who you are or what you plan. Think of it this way. When you speak, you spend power. When you listen, you accumulate it. So stop defending yourself. Stop correcting everyone who misunderstands you. Let them misjudge you. It keeps them predictable. Your silence will unsettle them more than any argument could. In personal life, silence is emotional dominance. When someone tries to provoke you, your calm response, or lack of one, shifts the balance instantly. They expect reaction. You give stillness. They crave chaos. You give nothing. And in that nothing, they collapse. Because silence forces reflection, not in you, but in them. They begin to replay every word they said. They start to question themselves. Your silence becomes the mirror they fear to look into. That's why the unbothered man is so powerful. His silence screams louder than words. Silence also builds anticipation. When you delay your words, your presence gains weight. People start waiting for your input, your reaction, your move. This is how great leaders, thinkers, and generals shaped perception. They mastered timing, knowing when to strike, when to pause, when to disappear. Silence is not absence. It's preparation. It's the art of watching the world reveal its strategy before revealing yours. So when everyone else is speaking, step back. When everyone else is reacting, stay still. When everyone else is chasing attention, disappear. Because in the void you create, your presence grows. And when you finally speak, every word will cut deeper. Let's talk about strategic silence, the kind that shifts power. There are 3 levels to it. Level 1, observation silence. You stay quiet to gather information. You listen to understand patterns, motives, weaknesses. Level 2, emotional silence. You withdraw during conflict. You let others burn their energy while you conserve yours. Level 3, influence silence. You speak last, or not at all, allowing others to feel the weight of your calm. When you reach this level, your energy speaks before your words ever could. People read your silence as strength. They interpret your calm as confidence. They project meaning into your pauses. And that is how you begin to lead minds without force. You see, words are everywhere now. Endless opinions, arguments, noise. But in that flood of speech, the man who speaks less becomes rare. And rarity always commands value. Your silence separates you from the masses. It creates gravity. It demands attention without ever asking for it. So use it wisely. When you walk into a room, speak less than necessary. When someone insults you, respond with a look, not a word. When someone demands a reaction, delay it until it no longer matters. Because silence is not weakness. It's composure. And composure is the language of rulers. Remember, you don't win arguments by being louder. You win by being still. You don't gain influence by explaining. You gain it by withholding. You don't gain peace by controlling others. You gain it by mastering your own restraint. Machiavelli would remind you, the man who speaks less is harder to betray. The man who reveals less is harder to attack, and the man who reacts less is impossible to defeat. This is the 4th law of indifference, the art of silence and strategy. You are no longer the man who reacts to noise. You are the one who controls the silence, and in that silence, you rule perception. In the next part, we move to the fortress mind, where we will build an inner kingdom so fortified that no insult, no betrayal, no loss can breach its walls. Stay quiet. Stay unreadable. Stay in command. You cannot control the world. You cannot control people. You cannot control betrayal, disrespect, chaos, or change. But you can control your fortress. Because in the end, it's not the world that breaks men. It's the weakness inside them that collapses first. And Machiavelli knew this. No ruler, no strategist, no king can stand long if his mind is open to every arrow. The world throws storms. The weak build umbrellas. The strong build fortresses. Today, we build yours. Your mind must become your castle. High walls, guarded gates, and a throne only you can sit upon. No emotion, no insult, no rejection should ever cross your walls uninvited. Most men let everything enter. They open their gates for validation. They let others decide their worth. They beg for peace in a world built on chaos. But you must become untouchable. The fortress mind is not cold by nature. It's cold by necessity. Because peace is not given. It is defended. Inside the fortress, there are 4 walls. Each wall must be built and guarded. Break one, and your peace crumbles. Wall 1. Detachment. You must stop believing that people owe you consistency, love, or loyalty. No one owes you anything, not even understanding. When you expect nothing, no one can disappoint you. This is not bitterness. This is clarity. The moment you detach from expectation, you become free. You stop chasing, you stop pleading, you stop suffering from what you cannot control. Machiavelli once wrote, "The world belongs to the disillusioned, because the man who sees reality without fantasy cannot be manipulated by it." That's the first wall, detachment. Wall 2, emotional regulation. The enemy of peace is reaction. Every outburst, every emotional explosion, it all hands your power to others. When you lose control, you become predictable. And predictability is death to influence. So when emotion rises, pause. Let the first wave pass. Your mind is the commander. Your emotion, the soldier. You decide when to send it to war. Breathe. Observe. Let the noise pass like wind across stone. The stone feels the wind, but it does not move. That's how you win without fighting. Wall 3. Isolation. Not loneliness. Isolation. It's the ability to be with yourself without craving distraction. Most people are terrified of silence because they're scared of what they'll hear. But the man who can sit alone in stillness, who can hear his thoughts and not run from them, that man cannot be controlled by anything outside him. Machiavelli called solitude the training ground of rulers. In solitude, your weaknesses become visible, and when you see them, you can strengthen them. Isolation is not exile, it's refinement. Your fortress must have a chamber of silence where you retreat to sharpen your clarity, reset your discipline, and remember, you need nothing outside to be at peace. Wall 4. Perspective. When something happens, betrayal, insult, loss, you have 2 choices. React like a victim or reinterpret it like a ruler. Every event can serve your growth, if you assign it purpose. A rejection can strengthen your independence. An insult can refine your control. A setback can expose your weakness and show you where to train harder. Machiavelli wrote, "He who adapts wins, and adaptation begins with perspective." When you can find power in pain, the world loses its grip on you. Every test becomes training. Every betrayal becomes knowledge. Every fall becomes preparation for a higher rise. That's how you turn wounds into walls. These 4 walls, detachment, regulation, isolation, perspective, they form the fortress mind. But a fortress is useless without a gatekeeper. That gatekeeper is discipline. You must decide who enters your mental space. Not every thought deserves attention. Not every person deserves energy. Not every event deserves reaction. Discipline is choosing what to care about. It's the act of rejecting distraction, emotion, and noise every single day. The disciplined mind sees life like a chessboard. Pieces move, chaos unfolds, but the king never rushes. Because kings don't chase pawns. They wait, calculate, and move with precision. Every time you react emotionally, imagine your fortress cracking, one stone falling from the wall. And every time you hold your silence, every time you remain unmoved, imagine rebuilding it, stronger. That's how emotional invincibility is built. Not in grand victories, but in small moments of control. The day you can watch betrayal and not break, see disrespect and not respond, lose something and not lose yourself, that day you become a ruler of your own soul. The weak want a world without pain. The strong build fortresses within it. Remember this: your peace is your castle. Your control is your throne. Your silence, your weapon. You are no longer the man who reacts. You are the one who observes. No longer the one who is broken by emotion. You are the one who bends it to your will. This is what it means to be untouchable. Not because the world is kind, but because you have built walls strong enough to stand against it. The fortress mind does not run from emotion. It commands it. It does not avoid pain. It learns from it. It does not chase peace. It creates it. Machiavelli said, "The wise man builds in the calm what he will need in the storm." That is your mission now. Build your mind before life tests it. Sharpen your calm before chaos arrives. And when the storm comes, smile. Because you no longer need the world to be calm. You are calm. You are the storm. This is part 5, the fortress mind. In the next part, we reach the final discipline, the Machiavellian calm. How to rule yourself when the world provokes you. Prepare yourself, because silence and strength are only the beginning. Next, we become unshakable. A man's true power begins the moment he no longer needs to prove it. When you can stand in the middle of chaos, when the world provokes you, betrays you, mocks you, and you remain still, calm, calculating, untouched. That is when you have mastered yourself. That is the Machiavellian calm. Not the peace of weakness, but the peace of control. Not the silence of fear, but the silence of domination. Because the ultimate victory is not over others. It is over your own reaction. Machiavelli wrote, "He who conquers himself is more mighty than he who conquers cities." Think about that, because most men live like conquered cities. Their peace belongs to whoever triggers them. Their mood belongs to whoever praises or insults them. Their focus belongs to whatever emotion happens to rise that day. They are slaves, not to people but to their own instability. But not you. You are here to learn how to rule yourself completely. To reach a calm so deep, nothing from the outside can disturb it. That calm is not natural. It's built, brick by brick, moment by moment. Every time you choose composure over chaos, you strengthen your crown. The Machiavellian calm has 3 pillars. Pillar 1, observation over reaction. When something happens, your instinct is to do something, to speak, to respond, to defend. But the calm man delays instinct. He observes before acting. He lets others reveal their hand, their motives, their weaknesses, because reaction is emotional, but observation is strategic. Every second you wait before reacting, you gather more power. Let others be loud, impulsive, and transparent. You, be still, be quiet, be unreadable. Your silence will force them to overextend. And that is when you strike, if needed. Remember, the first to react always loses control. Pillar 2, indifference to opinion. If your peace can be shaken by words, you are still chained to the crowd. Machiavelli warned rulers, reputation must be built on strength, not on the approval of men. Because public opinion is wind. It changes direction every day. And if you chase it, you will never stand still long enough to rule. So stop explaining yourself. Stop seeking validation. Stop needing to be understood. Most people will never see the depth of your discipline. They will mock your silence. They will mistake your calm for weakness. Let them. You don't owe anyone visibility into your strength. You only owe yourself mastery of it. Indifference is not arrogance. It's liberation. When you stop needing to be liked, you start to be respected. Pillar 3, cold compassion. This one separates the wise from the cruel. True calm doesn't mean you stop caring, it means you start caring correctly. The Machiavellian man helps, protects, and loves, but without attachment. He can walk away from anyone, not because he feels nothing, but because he refuses to let feeling rule him. His compassion is like a sword, beautiful, powerful, but always under control. He gives to the deserving, withdraws from the ungrateful, and never allows guilt to chain him to chaos. That is what it means to be calm and cold at once. To move through life with love that is disciplined, not desperate. When you master these 3 pillars, observation, indifference, cold compassion, you reach a point where the world no longer pulls you in every direction. You see the game for what it is. You move with patience. You let time reveal the truth instead of chasing it. And the more detached you become, the more power begins to come to you naturally. Because people are drawn to stillness in a world addicted to noise. They will sense your calm, and it will unsettle them or inspire them. Either way, you win. Because the man who controls himself controls the emotional climate of every room he walks into. Understand something crucial. Calmness is not passivity. It's precision. You are not ignoring the world. You are seeing it too clearly to be fooled by it. You're not detached because you don't feel. You're detached because you understand. Every insult, every betrayal, every setback is just information, a signal, a lesson, something to be analyzed, not suffered from. When the average man says, "Why me?" you say, "What is this teaching me?" That question alone will turn pain into wisdom, and wisdom is permanent calm. In the final form of calm, you stop trying to win arguments. You stop trying to prove worth. You stop needing outcomes. You operate like water, flowing around resistance, wearing down obstacles, never fighting directly, yet always moving forward. Water doesn't force. It adapts, reshapes, and eventually conquers. That is you now. You are not the fire that burns quickly. You are the water that endures eternally. Machiavelli once warned that rulers fall not because of their enemies, but because of their emotions. The moment you lose control of yourself, you give others control over you. So ask yourself every day, who rules me, my mind or my mood? Because one will build empires, the other will destroy them. Your goal is not to be emotionless. Your goal is to be emotionally governed, to feel but not obey, to observe but not absorb. This is the discipline of kings. This is the calm that makes you unshakable. The world will still provoke you. People will still test you, but your response will no longer belong to them. You will pause, you will breathe, you will choose your reaction like a weapon, not an instinct. And that is when you become dangerous, because calm men can see everything clearly. And when you see everything clearly, you can shape the world silently from the shadows. This is the Machiavellian calm. The calm that commands. The calm that conquers. The calm that rules. You've now learned all 10 laws of indifference. You've mastered detachment, silence, control, and composure. But remember this: these are not just ideas. They are disciplines. Every time you practice calmness in chaos, you are crowning yourself again. Every time you stay silent when provoked, you reinforce your throne. Every time you choose patience over pride, you are becoming who you were meant to be, a ruler of yourself, untouchable by the world. So stand tall, speak little, move with intention, and when the world burns with noise, remain still. Because your calm is the loudest power of all.